Welcome back to We Like That podcast.
Because we like that. I'm Joe,
And I'm Calvin.
and welcome back.
Welcome.
Hope everybody had a good Valentine's Day.
Bah humbug.
That's for Christmas. All right. So I had a great Valentine's Day and Valentine's Day weekend. It was very nice. And it was very busy. The Bridgerton sneak peek dropped. And then at the same time, Love is Blind. I don't know what season this is, but the it seems to be like the Minnesota season has also dropped. I still haven't finished it. It's also very boring. A lot of people are also talking about how very white it is, but you know what? Come see, come saw. It is Minnesota.
Mama say, mama saw, mama gusta.
All of that as well. But me and Calvin went and watched a play. It was a Jacarius Johnson play, and if you know anything about Jacarius Johnson, it's about to be real black. So it was a play called Games Women Play.
Or it should have been called Women Need to Pick Men Up No Matter What.
Apparently so. Be Jesus, be everything. But his woman, apparently. And but anyway. But it was actually directed by Carl Payne, aka Tommy. No, not Tommy. Cole.
Wow.
AKA
Jeez.
Cockroach.
Wow. Yes.
And you got any thoughts about the play, Calvin?
The play was funny. It was good. It was
I
a
was
good play.
dying. I'm not gonna lie. About halfway through that play, I was ready to go home. I was ready to go to sleep.
I was
I was
just
dying.
shocked they were in a smaller venue than the Warner. Not saying the Warner is that big, but the Warner is bigger than the National Theater.
They didn't sell up in the National Theater though. There were some empty seats.
I think because people were late and forgot.
Mm.
Honestly, because there was somebody walked in like after intermission.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think people were just running late in general.
It was interesting. The dress code was all over the place. You had like super casual people in like sweats, and then you had people in like ball gowns. I'm going in ball gown next year. That's what we're doing.
And you would be by yourself.
Ball gowned.
And you would be out in the streets
glittered
by yourself.
up.
I would be right at home enjoying myself.
It was a nice time. We had a nice little dinner at Clyde's. I wasn't sure we were going to make it on time because we are terrible at guessing what time we're supposed to leave the house. And then I dragged Calvin to go watch the new Captain America movie. I think it's called Brave New World. I think it's Captain America Brave New World.
It pretty much is just like all other Captain America movies. It's a
I would disagree because
little bit of action,
it's touch on
but a lot of talking.
Did you catch a lot of the racial undertones that they were touching on? They didn't say outright, but touched on a lot.
I guess. Sure.
His Sam's whole speech to his I don't know what this guy's name is, but basically his new Falcon. His whole speech about how like, he doesn't have the luxury to not mess up. He doesn't have the luxury to take L's or whatever because he's representing an entire people, basically. And they wouldn't say black people necessarily, but that's what he was talking about.
Okay.
What did you catch any of the racial undertones? They weren't obvious. I'll tell you that.
No, I just thought it was a lot of just talking. I think to me,
it was political intrigue for sure. It wasn't as action heavy.
To me, I just thought it was a lot of them just using this movie to connect other movies.
That's what all Marvel movies are.
But I think this movie was just a connection movie.
Let me make a comparison. Do you remember the Ant-Man movie?
Ant-Man was better to me.
Do you even remember it?
The first one?
No, the latest one.
The one with
the one that kicked off the new phase for Marvel Studios.
Sure. I think that was better than this one.
I don't think it was because you didn't even remember that it existed. So my argument
the
is
one
that
when the girl became the bee or something like that.
The girl became the bee.
I don't know her name. I don't know all these damn superhero names.
There was already a girl superhero.
She put on the other Ant-Man costume, the bee version of the Ant-Man costume.
I'm talking about the one where his daughter is like grown. Cassie. Yeah, Cassie took the mantle as a new Wasp.
No,
exactly. You don't even remember it.
When they went into that little, they found
what's her face's mom.
Yeah.
Yes, that whole thing. But see how you didn't even remember it? So I would argue that there is definitely a movie that's worse than this one.
No, Yeah, I
Yes.
get what you're saying, but that Ant-Man was still better than this
I
movie.
disagree. I think that movie was garbage.
I think it was better than this.
It was so bad.
It was better than this.
Who was the bad guy?
This girl named Shadow?
Nope.
No,
Exactly. So
she
it
wasn't.
proves my points.
She wasn't Shadow. Her name was
Ghost.
Ghost.
Nope. That was not the latest Ant-Man movie. That was the second Ant-Man movie.
What was
The third Ant-Man movie?
It was the black dude.
Yes, Kang.
Kang.
Exactly. You can't remember it because it was bad. Because it was bad.
It was more entertaining than this.
I disagree. Well, I could see for you how it would be because it was more action.
It was
The Ant-Man,
more entertaining than this.
The latest Ant-Man movie was more action based than this one. I appreciated this one. I liked the conversation they had around it. I like that they brought back Isaiah Bradley. There was a lot of controversy around Marvel bringing Isaiah Bradley into the show. What was it called? Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think. Because they didn't touch much on the whole element that Isaiah Bradley represents, which is like this black man who's kind of conscripted into service, who fought for his country, sacrificed for his country, and then was treated like garbage. They don't go into anything beyond that for Isaiah. And in the comics, it's a big thing. It's a big thing around Isaiah Bradley and his helm as being Captain America during the time that he was, which was like the 60s, late 50s into the 60s. Like in the comics, every black superhero knows who he is, kind of a deal. But in the show, they just kind of brought him up and then like didn't do anything with it. Like even at the end where they supposedly try to get him straight with the government, he like gets his own I don't know if you remember the show, but they were having an exhibit at the Smithsonian that showed Bucky and Cap and Falcon or New Captain America. He also gets Isaiah Bradley his own little tiny corner in the dark little exhibition as well, but it was so small and so minute. And then in this movie, he's again the first person to suffer. They have him, spoilers, they have him framed up as a plot point for the movie, and it's just him back in jail again. So I was like, where are we going with this? I kind of liked the ebb and flow of the story because they were trying to talk about stuff without talking about stuff. But I could understand how that's also frustrating.
I don't think it was a bad movie.
Uh-huh.
I just think they could have done a little bit more with the action.
Uh-huh.
That's all. Like,
but I also think that was the point because they kept pointing out how he doesn't have super powers.
I know. Anyway, is it worth going to watch? Yes.
Well, the other thing is people are trying to boycott it for several reasons. One, there's a lot of people who are just mad that it's a black Captain America. But two, there's a bunch of people that are boycotting it because they feel like it's Zionist propaganda.
Whatever.
To redirect the message against Palestine. Because the new Black Widow chick that's in the movie, she's actually is from Israel. Apparently she's a Zionist. And apparently the character she's playing in the comics, like in comic book canon, hated Palestinians, essentially. Was very, very prejudiced against Palestinians in the comic books. And then they brought her into the movie. So there's a lot of people in uproar around all of that.
But they should have been nothing. That's something for another day.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I was going to say they should have cared more about what would actually affect those people instead of goddamn movie.
Well,
that's neither here or there.
Well,
anywho, like it's worth going to see.
It wasn't back, but back to the play. What did you think? What did you think of games women play?
I guess it was an alright play.
The title was misleading to me because the only person really playing games was the lead guy,
Cole.
But his name wasn't Cole in the play. What was it?
But we know who he is, Cole.
Carl Payne, yes. Caleb. He played a character named Caleb. To me, the play was all over the place. I think like they kept jumping around for a lot of things.
The game that was being played was when her ex came back. She started to play in between the two of them, like who I'm gonna be with. I want to be with him, but no, I want to be with him.
My interpretation of that though was that they set up how she wasn't getting her needs met with Caleb. Like they were happy, and they're talking about being married, and he brings up prenup, and she's like, "Why do we need a prenup?"
That's the only problem with their relationship was the prenup.
That wasn't the only problem though. It was also him basically saying like, "You do what I say when I tell you to do it." Like that was also the cusp of that.
Sounds like
And
to
then
me.
her first love comes back in the picture, and
So-
at first she thinks, "Oh, we'll be on an even keel again," and then they weren't.
Sounds like to me her biggest issue that she didn't want to sign the prenup. She didn't care about all other stuff.
I agree.
It was the prenup for me. That's the sound like she had the problem with.
But I feel like it should have been games Caleb plays, because he was the one saying stuff about how like you need to know how to manipulate these women, you need to know how to do this, do that, blah blah blah.
Maybe
He gets knocked on his butt.
Maybe
but
that's what the playwright wants you to take away from it.
mm-hmm.
The irony. The man trying to say the woman is playing games when obviously, technically, he's the one playing the game.
It was very interesting.
Maybe that's what he wants you to get out.
And there were a lot of familiar faces. Flex is there. Flex Alexander. I don't know who Demetria McKinney is. That was the first for me.
She's on not the.
They said House of Pain.
She's on House of Pain. She's a wife. She's CJ's wife on House of Pain. She's been in a lot of Tyler Perry plays. Meet the Browns.
Or does she just look like that lady?
No, she's been in all the Tyler Perry plays.
Yeah, no, House of Pain.
Yeah. She's been on Meet the Browns. She's probably been in a couple of other plays for Tyler Perry. I don't know off the top of my head. Because they all starting to run together in my head.
But Jill Marie Jones was in it from Girlfriends.
But the main one I know her from is Meet the Browns.
Claudia Jordan made an appearance. I still don't know what Claudia Jordan's known for.
She's pretty much like I think she was a video vixen.
No, I thought she was one of the housewives.
Yeah, but she started off in
As
like
in
radio,
Okay.
and pretty much like being a video vixen and all that stuff.
I don't know
Or
who this
model.
I just
stuff
know
like
her from the college show on BET. That's all I know her from.
that.
And I didn't
College.
even finish her season.
uh,
And Chico Bean was in it, who's part of the comedy troupe. I forget what they're
95
called.
South.
Yeah, 85 South.
85 South.
He's a DC native. That's why he was doing all those shout outs to the X2 and
Okay.
Berry Farms. But it was nice. It was nice to go out
Also,
and see a play, be
The
out
other
in the
guy's
city.
pretty much in a lot of Tyler Perry movies and TV shows too.
Brian J. White was also in it.
Yeah.
Yes. It was a good time. I had a lovely time. I had a lovely weekend. My sleep schedule's now crazy, but it is what it is. I'm old. So, moving on to That Happened with Joe.
That happened with Joe.
I got a surprise for Calvin.
Do you know?
Let me get this.
You want Mo? You gonna get it with Joe?
You gonna get it with Joe? That sounds crazy. Okay, let me get this all sorted.
Did you know? That happened with Joe.
All right, ready?
Sure.
Go on.
Why are we playing gospel music?
Who is this?
I have no idea. That can't be Shirley Caesar.
Okay. So this was a gospel sensation group that the person singing was a kid. This was kids singing.
Is that Sly Stone?
No,
Oh,
Casey and JoJo.
Casey and JoJo?
Yep.
Oh,
They were in a group called Little Cedric and the Haley and the Haley somethings.
okay.
Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Yeah. Casey, or maybe this is JoJo. Somebody is known as Little Cedric.
That's like Casey.
Okay. Yeah, and those are the two of them.
Okay.
So I came across that. I wanted to know if Calvin knew who they were.
No.
That was the answer to that. Do you want to do another face off?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. So we can do 87 versus 95, or we can do 93 versus 2003.
Sure. Whichever one.
Which one? Ooh, they also have a Little Mo versus Fabulous versus Ashanti and Ja Rule. How many songs do Little Mo and Fabulous have?
I don't know.
Okay. Or top Black 90s sitcoms.
Pick one, Javon.
Let's do the top Black 90s sitcoms for Black History Month. You ready?
Sure. Comes part 1. Let's go. Iconic. It's a rare even more iconic. This day and age to read any good news on the newspaper. Heavy D and the boys. Martin. We're happy and we're singing and we're That's colored. Nice. That's nice.
If you know what this is just off of the tone, I'll give you extra points.
You off the top now?
Okay.
That's Steve Harvey show.
It was. That was the Steve Harvey show. All right. So first one up was A Different World. Have you heard about Black Hillman Talk?
No.
Family Matters was after that, with The Rare Condition in this day and age.
I think it's going to be
In Living Color after that.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There's too many that's really, really good. There's too many. Martin.
Living Single.
After that. Yep, Living Single after that. It says Reloaded. Sister, Sister.
And then the Wayans Brothers.
Yep. Wayans Brothers. Are these supposed to be verses? Like these two? I think maybe they are.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Foxx show.
Jamie Foxx versus Steve Harvey.
Okay. Steve Harvey show. All right, so starting back at the beginning then. What would you say? Would you say A Different World or would you say Family Matters?
Because of who's singing the song.
Okay.
It's A Different World.
Okay. I give you that. We got Aretha Franklin versus some white guy. That's so true. Then we got In Living Color.
It's not even close.
Versus. It's not even close to what? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
It's In Living Color. Now, most people will go Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because it's sung more.
Yeah.
Way more people
know
the
the words to that
the
one.
words of the song.
Yeah.
But for me,
Mm-hmm.
I could sing the Living Color theme too.
Then do it.
Let's take a trip up to the street.
Exactly.
With a funky scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You already failed, so that's okay. Exactly.
I gotta.
Exactly.
No, the problem is it's two versions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay,
you can do what you wanna do in Living Color. It's two different. It's two versions though.
Okay. All right, God, for sure. I would say Fresh Prince because I know that word for word. I know that word for word.
I think the Living Colors are better. Okay. It's better.
We got Martin versus. Oh, I forgot that. And Living Single, Martin.
Because who's singing the Living Single song?
Who's singing the Living Single song for you?
That's Queen Latifah singing it.
She definitely does the rap, but she's not doing the chorus. They can't hear you shake your head.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
because there's more than one person singing.
I know, but she's singing too. She's in the harmonizing too.
I'm gonna have to Google that after we get finished with this.
Sure, do what you need to do.
Sister, Sister.
To see that I'm right.
Versus the Wayans Brothers.
Sister.
Yep, Sister, Sister. I agree. I concur. Both shows hilarious. Jamie Foxx show versus Steve Harvey show. Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx theme song is better, but Steve Harvey show.
Wait a minute, like shows wise?
Yeah.
Steve Harvey over Jamie Foxx?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
I'm not saying Steve his show wasn't Jamie Foxx show wasn't funny.
Uh-huh.
But the theme song, I guess Jamie Foxx one is better because he's actually singing it. So I guess that's extra brownie points.
I just liked all the sayings that came out of the Jamie Foxx show.
Oh, if that's the case, then yeah.
It was that and Braxton. I loved Braxton. He was hysterical. Romeo was fine though on the Steve Harvey show. Rest in peace to him. Fine. Anyway,
Sure.
moving on. You want to talk about the shows? You want to talk about Worth the Watch?
Worth the Watch was pretty much a Hulu documentary. You can see it on Disney Plus as well.
If you have Hulu, that's the catch with the Disney Plus stuff. You have to have a Hulu subscription to see it.
Oh, okay.
It's dumb.
It's called SLY Lives. Pretty much the birth of a black genius. Pretty much, it's a documentary examining that Questlove pretty much produced,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty much just showing the incredible life and works of the one of a kind talent.
Sly Sylvester Stone.
Sly Sylvester Stone.
Stone.
Sylvester Stone. And pretty much all the stuff he went through the years after his fame, his rise and descent from fame,
Mm-hmm.
and also black artists like him faced, I guess. So, what did you think of that documentary?
You know what? That documentary was kind of about Sly because it didn't really go into his beginnings. It just talked about his hardships once he was there as an artist. That's really what it focused on. It didn't give us like he was born here, he grew up like this, and did all that. It was like he started in radio in terms of his professional
They
career.
touched on where he was born a little bit, but yes, like you said, it focused more only on how he got to be who
His
he was.
artistry. Yeah.
I didn't realize he had so much training on top of the talent that he had.
Uh-huh.
Like, I didn't know he played. I knew he played guitar and keyboard and organ. I didn't know he played drums too.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he wrote all the stuff. I didn't know he arranged and did all the other stuff. I didn't even know he could read music.
I found it interesting that when it came to like collaborating on the music, at least in the early days, most of his band members only had positive things to say. They're like, yeah, it would be long days, but it was worth it to get the sound right. He wasn't nitpicky.
Because it was all about the music.
Right. Like later, I think their biggest complaint is that he wasn't consistent. Like he wouldn't show up sometimes, or he would just be out.
He was on the stuff.
He
was
was
on
on
that shit.
He was on the sugars. So
I just didn't realize all the extra training he had to go with that talent.
uh-huh.
It just made his talent more ridiculous.
Would help polish it more, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I took from it.
But it also kind of talked about how like he lucked out. He went to a community college and focused on studying music there, and he just happened to come across a professor who shared his like love for music and was able to teach him so much stuff in a very short amount of time. But he
And
also had the what's it called? Aptitude to like learn all of that and engage with it. And he did. I didn't realize how much people sample from him. That's what I didn't realize.
yeah, I didn't realize one of the iconic samples was from him. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
LL Cool J's "Mama Say Knock You Out." I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that was from him. That
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was him.
Mm-hmm.
That threw me for a loop.
I
was
knew
like,
the Rhythm Nation one, but yeah, I didn't know about the other ones.
yeah,
But also just like he was literally a musical genius. But also he was a musical genius that wasn't ready to be perceived as a musical genius, is what it sounded like. He's actually a pretty introverted, shy person and wasn't really about all of the spotlight that he then garnered.
I don't think he was ready for all the weight that people were gonna put on him.
Well, they also talked
And
culturally
responsibility.
about how he was breaking barriers in the 60s as a black artist. So
Also,
there was a lot of weight on what he was able to do successfully.
and also, the diversity of his group wasn't on accident. That's pretty much how he grew up. Every group he was in was diverse.
Mhm.
There were white women, white people, black people, females, and all the groups he's ever been in.
hmm
So for
Which
him,
apparently at the time was rare.
was rare. So for him to create Sly and the Family Stone, with the diversity that was, to him that was just a regular band.
I do find it interesting that they kept harping on the diversity of it. And they're not I know they're not the only band to do that, but I can see how they're the only band with a black lead that's doing it that way.
I think it's in terms of the makeup, and at the time he was, and the fact that he was a black lead too, probably like you said, was one of the main reasons they thought of that or felt that way. But to me, after watching the documentary, I'm like, that was just par for the course.
After watching the documentary, I was like, man, this man had a lot of children. This man had a lot of children. Had a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Holy cow. This is like a Bob Marley situation.
I already knew one of the women in the band had a baby for him.
Right.
The
but
trumpet player.
It was the continuation of several people having babies for him later.
Yeah.
Like when he was in his late 40s and married to a 20-year-old.
No, I think he was 30. She was 20.
That's not better because he married her after she had the baby. How old was she when she got pregnant?
I don't know.
19, more than likely 19.
I didn't ask questions. I wasn't born yet.
I'm just saying, there's some scary parts. But a lot of it was like him reaching these incredible highs and then having to figure out how to stay in these incredible highs. And whether that was the pressure of that, a pressure of expectation, because he had a lot of expectation on him as well. We're in the middle of the civil rights movement. Black Panther Party apparently was coming to him being like, what are you doing to help support this movement?
Also, how when he started off his first album, there was like, you're too complex. You need to simplify.
That was his label.
His label, like, you're too complex. You need to simplify or dumb it down.
But to their credit, they weren't wrong because they released his album as he wanted it, that first one, and it didn't do well. And when they tell him to make it simple, it works. It sells.
But I don't think what he was saying was complex at the beginning.
But you also got to think of a time period that he's doing this in. They didn't want to hear it like that. They needed something that was going to like glaze it over just a little bit. And that's what he did with the other one. Because he actually didn't really change his messaging. He just made it simpler, like he said.
Yeah.
It became like almost Sesame Street simple.
Yeah, and I think what happened was when it was time for him to evolve or do something else, he couldn't.
I don't think he was in the right space to do it. He was already dealing with everything and coping how he was coping. And then the music is changing the way it's changing around him as well.
Pretty much I had other artists to talk about him and his I want to say contribution to music and hip hop, all that stuff. So you had Q-Tip, if you know who Q-Tip is. He's from the hip hop group Tribe Called Quest. He's also amazing producer in hip hop. They also had D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know anything, D'Angelo's married to one of his daughters, Angie Stone. Is Angie Stone his daughter?
Why do you think she's his daughter? Because her last name is Stone?
I thought she was. I don't know why.
That was so random.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought she was. Anywho, I thought her dad was Sly Stone.
You have a computer. You can check.
Anywho, but yeah, he talks about him as well. They had Andre 3000. They had Shaka Khan.
They talk about him, but they also talk about it in terms of like the experience as a black artist making it.
Yeah.
Through the music. Like that was mostly the point of this documentary.
They also had
how do you do this with all of the black culture also on your back?
They also had some professors. I can't remember any of their names. They also had a lot of his band members, like Larry Graham.
All of his band members.
All his band members.
The drummer was there. The saxophone player was there. The trumpet player. His sister was there. The keyboardist. Everybody was there. But it was also very nice to hear like how close they were.
Also George Clinton.
Yes, him and George Clinton become friends.
And they got arrested a lot of times for the drugs together.
He's like, it was a crazy time. It was just a crazy time. But honestly, I thought he had passed. I didn't realize he's still fine. Like he's still alive. He's just retired now. He's just taking it easy.
Oh yeah, her father is a member of a gospel group.
So not Sly.
Yeah.
But is the bass player Drake's uncle? That's my question.
Yes.
Interessante. But it was cool. It was nice to watch. It wasn't super long. It was a nice quick. It wasn't super. It was interesting from start to finish. There wasn't a point in there where I was like, ugh, I don't care about this anymore.
Yeah, it's just he had a lot of hits, and also one of his wives who used to open up for him talks about how they were on a show
Was she a
together.
wife or was she a girlfriend?
I'm sorry, girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
You're right, girlfriend. And she talks about how she opened up for him one time, and like
She had to also basically stay on and repeat her set because he
was,
wasn't there.
and it's because they kept saying he was in the bathroom, and she was like,
He's in the bathroom. Right.
whatever. She was like, people was booing, and she like, y'all shut up. It's not my fault he's not here or something. She
Yeah,
said.
basically.
And they did whatever. He came out. She was like, let me see you fix this, because everybody was booing when he came out. And she said,
and he did it.
And
he fixed
they went
it.
from booing and from 1 second of booing to the next second cheering and clapping and
Singing
along, having a good old time. And she also talks about trying to help him get off drugs and all that stuff. And
she kind of seemed broken when she was talking about that.
Yeah.
Like how she's like, it took her a minute to realize she really could not fix it for him.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see all these women who were so in love with him, like love. Like the band member who hasn't dated anybody since they broke up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And how, but I know some women like her.
That's so sad.
Actually, maybe 2 of them in my family.
That's so sad to me.
Yeah.
I understand that you probably feel like lightning's not going to strike twice, or it might be disingenuous to the memory of the relationship that you had, but I find it very, very, very halting to think that your happiness is only tied with this one person. It's crazy.
I like how they say when he started to get on the harder stuff, like the crystal meth,
cocaine,
angel
rocks.
dust, and
crack. He said they were crackheads.
Yeah, angel dust and
crack. PCP. Angel dust is
PCP.
PCP is angel dust. That's the same thing.
Yeah, PCP, which is the today's form of meth. Meth and stuff.
I thought crack was today's form. Was the form of meth.
No, I think
especially with that epidemic.
Crystal PCP.
There was never a PCP epidemic. There was a meth epidemic.
Crystal PCP.
Nah.
They was lacing their weed with PCP, so people just assuming it was weed.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But also
angel dust and all that.
But what I'm saying is it's kind of fallen out of favor. Now people like methamphetamines.
Yeah. The meth is taking over. Yeah.
The meth is taking over.
The meth is taking over.
The meth is taking over.
So he went from that to crack and all that stuff, and him and George Clinton talking about doing crack and how any little thing could trigger him and he would just stop. They show a clip of him and George on stage together, and George is trying to do something with him.
He's just like, yeah, Sly Sylvester Stone's here. And they're like, yeah. And he goes, I'll be back. And he just gets off the stage.
It was like Sly was doing his thing. And I guess he didn't like how Clinton was, I guess, trying to get him to do something or interrupting his groove or whatever. So
I don't think that was it.
You go back and watch it.
Because he's just like playing the whatever this is.
He's doing something, and Clinton's trying to get him to do something else or something, and it gets to him. He's like, I'll be back. He's like, yeah, he'll be back. And he's like, okay.
He said they were both high when they were docking anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was like, George Clinton is funny as hell.
Where's the rest of that documentary? Let's watch the George Clinton. Let's watch that one.
But George admits he was pretty much like the father of funk.
Yep. That's what
he was the first person to start using really like a drum track, and the first person to have a hit using a drum track.
Mm-hmm. Drum machine, yeah.
Drum machine. So like,
he was just innovative.
Yeah,
he was
very innovative.
He was very talented.
It's just drugs, man.
Well, that, and I honestly, I think it was too much. Like he says it himself. It was too much too soon. Because he does Woodstock and he blows up. He blows up. So.
And then on top of the label trying to get another hit, it's just, I think he just got burnt out real fast.
Yeah. Well, it took several decades because he did this through the 80s.
The 80s, that was hilarious. Him with Stevie Johnson or some Johnson dude.
I still don't know who that is.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I came across a video And I didn't even know what SLY playing the keyboard. I'm like, is that SLY still playing the keyboard?
What did
Who
you
is this
think
dude?
of their perspective about being black and being a first and stuff when it comes to your industry?
It's hard because you gotta stay black, and you're doing everything for the whole black race, no matter if you want to or not. It is what it is. So you want to hold up a certain image, and you don't want to let black folks down, but at the same time too, you don't want all that burden. So, and it's just a lot of pressure.
True. I thought it was good. I liked it. You want to talk about next show?
Yeah, you guys should check it out. It's pretty much called The Burden of a Black Genius / Stone documentary. Hulu. If you got Disney Plus, that's how we watch it on Disney Plus.
But you have to have Hulu.
But you have that,
which
Hulu
is dumb. So it's
it.
mostly Hulu. But if you also already have Hulu and Disney Plus, you can watch it on Disney Plus too.
Now moving on to Love After Lockup, criminal stories. The second episode. This episode talks. They show Brittany Santiago. If you don't know, Brittany was married to what's that dude name?
Mr. Santiago. I don't know.
No. Oh God.
Pete. I don't know what his name is.
Damn, I had this.
You have a computer.
On the top of my brain. And the other guy was
Quaylon
Adams.
Yes. What was his girl's name? I want to say Charmaine.
Charmaine, I think.
Okay.
I can't research and
answer these questions.
Yeah.
So we watched the second episode. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying watching how they got into the situations they got into and that landed them in jail. Brittany's story was heart-wrenching. If you watched any of her seasons, she touches on how she got put in jail and why she's such a strong advocate about being sober, like trying to assist with addiction, because it's her whole childhood is basically that. Like she didn't have a tight relationship with her biological father, according to her mom. She calls her biological mother. He was just not a good fit to be a father, but she was raised by addicts. Her stepfather and her mother used a lot, and then she got into using as well.
The way she seems like her mom just took her from her dad.
Yeah, don't you remember the conversation they have when she's trying to get her mom clean in her season?
No, I can't.
You said I can't do all those things at the same time. So basically, during Brittany's actual season, when she had come, what is his name? Marquez?
Oh God, it's right here. I got it.
Okay, what's his name?
Marcelino.
And she was with Marcelino, and she was trying to figure out what to do with her mom, because her mom was like on and off with her sobriety, and she was trying to figure out how to help her mom, because her mom had gone through a lot of stuff. Her mom actually was in a fire accident back in Alaska due to her drug use.
And then it blew herself up.
Yeah. And she has all these scars from it, but she's also hasn't had the best luck with staying sober also. And Brittany was trying to figure out how to help her mom, and that's when she kind of unveiled this story of how, like, basically her mom did take her. Like, in the middle of the night, her mom grabbed her and her sisters, and they left her dad, and she didn't know why, and she hasn't been in touch with her father ever since. So she doesn't know what's going on with them about that. And according to the mom rehashes that her dad he really wasn't a good person. He wasn't a safe person to be around. She had to get out to save them, basically. But she meets up with her ex-husband, because Brittany's stepdad is no longer really her stepdad. He helped raise her, but they ended up getting a divorce later down the line. But he also was an addict. Now, he got clean first between the two. The stepfather got clean before her mom did, and he's managed to stay clean. But yeah, Brittany just grew up in like this very tumultuous home with addicts and having to take care of her sisters. And then it came to a point where she was like, I'm just better off being on my own at this point.
So at 12, she ran away from home.
I want to underline that she is 12.
So she runs away from home. She's on the street. She meets this 18-year-old girl.
Oh, we should repeat that. They left Alaska and moved to Vegas at some point.
Yeah, they moved from Alaska and went to Vegas. Her mom and her stepdad.
Yeah, and her family.
Her family. So after a while of being in Las Vegas, at the age of 12, she runs away. She's on the streets. She ends up running into this 18-year-old girl. And the way she tells it is like,
The girl was like, "I'll help you out. I'll hook you up."
I help you out. So then the girl takes her back to her house. And I guess at this point she wanted to go home. But the girl, to shut her up, the girl gave her meth to smoke.
Yeah.
And that's how she got addicted to meth and got on meth.
Well, she was already dabbling in stuff. Yeah, meth just took her.
So then she went from that to...
Nope, that. She just stayed on that. She chased that addiction. She did whatever she needed to do to keep that addiction.
From that, then she went to selling. She ended up moving in with a guy named...
A grown man.
A grown man named... Chalink.
You type this.
Yeah, Chalink. Chilan.
Chilongo.
Chalongo. They didn't. I just wrote what it sounded like. Chalongo, something like that. That's what it sounded like. Chalongo.
Basically, she met a grown ass man
who took her to a trap house and pretty much made her to start cutting up and cooking dope
and selling for him.
And selling for her.
Mind you, again, she's 12. So, and she does this for a few years.
Her and some girl get the bright idea to leave this guy. So they take
with his stuff.
Take all his stuff and go to a motel up the street. I guess they started selling or something, or they used some of the drugs to get a free hotel.
Yeah, they paid in dope.
At some point, they were somebody asked them if they were selling or something.
They called him up because they saw the girls and they were like, "How do you hook me up so I can get something from them?" And she was like, "Crap, now he knows where we are."
He came up there, bust both of them in the head, took them back to the place, and she went in the room, went to sleep, got up, jumped out the window, and never looked back.
Well, she sacks up with another old man. She meets a 56-year-old the next time.
What happened was that time she was running from a security guard or something. She was stealing at that point, starting to steal.
Was that after G or before?
That's before G.
So yeah, she goes from the trap house to the 56-year-old guy, right? Yeah, and then G.
Yeah, but she meets the 57-year-old guy because she was 56? Running from a security guard.
Okay.
And
because she was stealing stuff and returning it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the car, and she just randomly opened the door of a truck, jumped in, and she's like, drive. Mm-hmm. And this dude just drove.
Yeah.
So pretty much this old man was taking care of her, and
he also took her virginity.
I think that was Jeremy.
Who's Jeremy?
Jeremy is the guy she met at the hotel if she left the old guy.
After she beat up the old dude?
Yeah. After the old guy, Jeremy is the guy she met after the old guy.
I could have swore it was this 56-year-old man.
The 56-year-old man was for Jeremy.
Interesting.
The guy took her virginity. The old guy didn't sleep with the old guy, was just taking care of her.
Interesting.
Basically. So then she had money, went and got drugs, and went to a tattoo parlor to get a tattoo and get high.
Uh-huh.
I guess the tattoo was like, we just getting high. You still got to pay for this tattoo. So
she didn't have no money on her.
She didn't have no money. She went back to the house to ask the old dude. The old dude's like, "Nah, I'm not paying."
Well, she drove back to the house with the tattoo parlor people.
So she went back with a group of guys from the tattoo parlor
and was like, "This old man will give me the money. He's good for it." They're like, "Great."
So the old man said no. She went outside to smoke a cigarette. And while she's outside to smoke a cigarette, these dudes are jumping the fence to the backyard, bust in the house, beat the old dude up. She runs off, jumps in the old dude's truck, and drives off.
He's screaming for her in the meanwhile.
He drives off. She drives off. A friend, I guess, pretty much tells the cop.
No, she goes and stays at a friend's house, and he rats her out.
And a friend pretty much tells on her. And she ends up in jail. She does...
She said the only reason I know he survived is because they were able to do a plea deal. Yeah.
So, I think she did like maybe 2 years or something?
No, the second time was 2. The first time was a little longer.
Okay.
She did 2 with the second time she goes in.
Anywho, she's in jail and she's fighting.
Daily, apparently.
Daily, in jail. She finally gets out. I think she
loses her kids in the process and all that.
So, let's go back. She had
which is why I think there's not a Jeremy, because she goes to jail after the old man. And she loses her kids in that
She has 2 kids, goes to jail.
Jeremy wasn't in the picture yet.
Oh yeah, she has the 2 kids for Jeremy.
Okay.
That's who she has the kids for.
Who's G then?
I think G is probably some other dude.
That she was Giancarlo, her little boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so old man, she does her time for his beatdown.
Mm-hmm.
She gets out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess meets up with Jeremy.
So she gets out. She meets up. 18. She gets out at 18. She's panhandling, doing all this stuff.
So yeah, that's more than 2 years because she would have went in around 13, 14. And she comes out at 18. That's like 4 years.
Yeah. So.
But mind you, again, she's also a teenager.
So then at 18, she meets this dude named Jeremy who stays at, I guess, the same hotel they keep going to when all this bad stuff is happening.
Yeah, she said she got introduced when they went to a party or whatever.
So now she's with Jeremy. She thinks he's a nice guy, but turns out he's a drug seller, a drug dealer too.
And he's the guy that took her virginity.
And he ends up getting her high and takes her virginity.
She says she gets sexually abused by him.
And she's selling out of the motel for him.
She has 2 kids by him.
So one day they're in the hotel. The FBI just comes knocking at the door.
How did it become a Fed situation? That was my question.
They kick in the door. They grab Jeremy. Jeremy has her in the bathroom trying to flush the dope. They go in and grab her. So the reason the police kick in the door is because they're looking for a young girl from Florida. I guess someone told her that there was a young girl.
Told them
that there was a young girl in a certain
in one of those hotel rooms.
In hotel rooms that might have been her, and it ended up being her room. They take her into custody.
I don't think it ended up. I think they said it on purpose.
Well, yeah. So who knows?
But yeah, the interest was that they thought she was the runaway.
Yeah, they thought she was the runaway girl from Florida. She was not. They take her in. She somehow escapes, jumps the fence, and runs off and runs back to Jeremy's room.
Mm-hmm.
So now the hotel is like, yo, you need to get this young girl off our thing. If you don't, we're going to call the police.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeremy pretends like they break up or he made her leave.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's just sitting in a hotel room for like a year, she said. She never leaves that room for a year. I guess eventually somebody found out she was in the room. They told Jeremy, we can call the police. You got like a day to leave.
I got more questions. Was he paying for the room this whole time or something?
I guess so.
Interesting.
He's actually working there. So they let him, he was staying there for free because he was working at the hotel.
I thought that was the old man.
No, the old man had his own place.
Interesting. Okay.
The old man place was the place they hit up to rob the dudes from the tattoo probably end up robbing.
I definitely conflated Jeremy and the old man as the same person.
No, they're 2 different people.
Interesting.
So her and Jeremy steal all the stuff in the, I guess, in the hotel room, sell it, and then they move to outside.
Just outside.
She finds out she's pregnant with her first son. She has her son, and right after that, she has another.
She has a daughter.
A daughter.
But she loses both of them.
So what happened was, at that point, I guess she calls her mom because she's like, I got 2 kids now. I got to straighten out my life.
She says she finally gets the strength to leave Jeremy. And she calls her mom.
She calls her mom. Now she's living back with her parents. But living on her parents' roof, they're still doing the same thing they're doing. Mm-hmm. So it triggers her to go back to using. And at some point, her stepfather calls CPS on her, and she loses her kids.
Yeah. They say that they weren't in a safe environment. And she lost all legal rights to these children. She lost all of them because they put them up for adoption. Not fostering, adoption. So to this day, she doesn't know where these kids are.
So she met Jeremy first.
Mm-hmm.
Then she ran into the 50-year-old dude named Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
After she lost her kids, she went back to doing drugs and stealing. That's when she ended up.
So who was the father of her kids, Jeremy or Alfred?
Jeremy is the father of her kids.
Okay.
She met Alfred after Jeremy.
Okay.
After she lost her kids, she went back to the streets stealing. Okay. This is now when she's stealing out of retail stores and do all this other stuff, like fraud and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she ran out. Security was chasing her. She jumped in Alfred's car and runs off with him. He's taking care of her. That's when she gets into trouble with the dude that tattoo parlor comes in, breaks into dude. Pretty much use her. I don't know if they. Here's the thing. I'm confused now.
You didn't finish your sentence.
Yeah, because I was thinking about. So, did the guys? Why did she bring the guys from the tattoo parlor with her?
Because he wanted payment, and she was like, "Oh, this old man will do it. I need a ride anyway."
So then, what happened for made them get out the car to jump in and go and just rob this dude?
I'm feeling like she's telling them how loaded this dude is because he gives her hundreds all the time.
Oh, so she's bragging on how this dude's taking care of her.
Yeah.
They read that. I
As
guess
like
she
easy-
then
easy
tells
mark.
tells him he's not going to give her the money this time.
Right.
So she's in the back smoking.
Or they hear it for themselves because I'm sure they weren't that far from the door.
So then they jump the fence, break in, beat the dude up. She jumps in the dude's truck, drives off. This is the first time she goes to jail at 18. I think she does 5 years.
Yeah, she has a long time. Yeah.
So she's doing 5 years, and she's 18 at this time. Now,
But no, that's the second time she's been in jail though. She went in jail for like petty drug crimes before.
okay. So now after the dude gets
But
beat up,
the long stint was for the what did she say? Attempted murder or something?
kidnapping or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So
Abduction.
abduction, kidnapping, all this stuff. So now she's in jail for 5 years. She's fighting. She got into 11 fights as soon as she got into prison.
Mm-hmm.
She gets out in 2011. That's when she hooks up with G.
Okay. As John Carlo.
Yeah. So she hooks up with G. In 2014, she's back to selling, doing whatever. G ends up going to meet this guy to sell her this guy.
Mhm.
Her and G, and I guess a group of people go to meet this guy to sell her this guy. The guy doesn't want the drugs. All of a sudden, she says G starts chasing this guy
Shoots him.
and shoots him in the back.
And they all disperse.
They all run off. She gets caught,
And she ends up serving time, she says.
and she's the only person that ended up serving time.
And that was the 2 years. Yes. Which put her at 27 at that point. Yes.
And that's when she did a.
And in the process of all that, she meets Marcelino.
So while she's in jail that time, she meets Marcelino,
Marcelino.
and that's how she ends up in Love and Lockup. They have like 2 kids?
3.
3. They have 3 kids.
But they divorced.
If you saw their episode, pretty much she wanted to bring a friend in. She brought the friend in, and it didn't go the way she thought it was.
It wasn't an
gonna go.
episode. It was a full season.
Season. What I'm saying, yeah, the season she was on.
But that was the second season. When we first met them, it was all about her adjustment to being in civilian life.
Also, her wanting to have
And
a
then
threesome.
as soon as they started knocking these kids out, she was like, let's open it up. I'm interested in girls too.
She wanted a threesome.
And then I
Early
still
before.
don't know how real this storyline was, though.
So, long story short, she ends up having a threesome with one of her best friends out of jail. At some point, the dude and Marcelino,
dude and Marcelino.
her friend and Marcelino keeps contacting each other. I guess he's sending her dick pics at this
According
point.
to the friend, though, it was just one-sided. It was just Marcelino reaching out to her.
So,
But again, I also don't know how real this storyline was.
yeah. So, long story short, they end up divorcing. So now she's living in Florida, and she's a realtor. She has her 3 kids with her.
She was a realtor in Vegas, too, and before they made their move to Florida.
Yeah, but if you watch their story, it's pretty much her trying to get her mom clean, and her and Marcelino working on their relationship.
Yeah.
Because he was expiring gambler.
Professional gambler.
Professional gambler.
Professional poker player.
Or whatever.
It didn't work out. So, yeah.
So,
Moving on to Quaylon.
the other person we learned his backstory to was Quaylon Adams. He's pretty much born in Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas City, Kansas.
Not Missouri?
No.
Oh,
He's born in Kansas City, Kansas.
okay.
And he got caught up in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh. I didn't realize how close they were. They're like right there.
Yeah, they're right there. It's like a bridge or something that separates.
I
them
bet
someplace.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
So, he has two other sisters, and pretty much he went to jail for burglary.
Burgling.
So he started pretty much stealing when he was like 9.
He talked about how he didn't have a dad growing up and he needed money. He needed money.
So at 9, it was just petty theft, like from
Candy stuff
steal. But age 12, he wanted to look good. He wanted to have the latest fit and have some money in his pocket. So he started stealing from retail. And then that escalated to 13 and the breaking in houses. Pretty much he was the kick door. He was the person that kicked the door in for every house.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess he was really good at kicking doors in.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, I guess it was one guy that one of his people in his crew didn't like. And I guess this guy had money or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they pretty much planned to rob this guy's house. They had a gun on him. I thought they were trying to rob the guy while he's at home, but apparently no. They was just going to rob the house when the guy left. So they go to rob this guy's house. Apparently this guy decides to come back to the house.
Yeah, his own house. Who knew?
I guess he came back earlier than way before they thought. I'm assuming he either left something because he came right back to the house really fast for some reason. He comes back, sees them, he runs to his closet, grabs his gun, and starts shooting at them.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots at them once, and then Quaylon said he felt something, but he didn't know what it was. His buddy turns around and shoots at the guy twice.
Mm-hmm.
Then the guy fires another shot. Quaylon was like, it was a shotgun shot because all you heard was a loud boom. And then he heard 2 shots and he heard another loud boom. So they're running. He gets to a friend's house and he's like, oh, I'm bleeding. I tell you about, he goes, I guess, to a corner or something, finds out he's bleeding. Then he makes his way to a friend's house. The friend's like, dude, you're shot. You're bleeding. He's like, don't call 911. The dude's like, nah, dude, I'm calling an ambulance. I don't want you to die in my house or die right here.
Mm-hmm.
They call an ambulance. I said ambulance. Ambulance.
And to make it better.
Yeah. He gets to the hospital and he asks the lady, is he gonna die? The lady like, hopefully not on my watch, honey.
Mm-hmm.
He said he passes out. He comes to and the police ask him what happened. He's like, these dudes rolled up in a car and shot him. So I guess when the time he was in surgery and he finally got out of surgery, the police did their investigation and found out, if you got shot because you was breaking into somebody's house. They pretty much cuff him to the bed, and pretty much that's how he ends up going to jail. He got 2, Class A felonies, which is up to 30 years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up doing 12 years.
And he was what, 17, 19 when
he
he
was
went
17.
In? Yikes.
If he did the crime in Kansas,
no, I thought he did 17 years.
He was 17 when he got sentenced to 12 years.
I could have swore he said I had 17 years to think of my life over and over again. Could have swore.
No. So what happened was, since he was in Kansas City, Missouri when he did the crime, not Kansas City, Kansas, he was able to, they tried him as an adult since he did it in Kansas City, Missouri. They was able to try him as an adult and they gave him 12 years.
Chevelle is his girlfriend's name. That's
the girl. So he did his 12 years, got out, and he was on Love and Locked Up with the female named Chevelle, like Jabon said, who had a little girl.
A female named Chevelle? His girlfriend? A female named Chevelle.
Well, she pretty much was female. They never got met. Whatever. Anywho,
what?
She had a younger child who he was enamored with, and he really treated like it was his own.
Yeah, he really stepped up and treated that little girl like his own.
The issue with their thing was their families. His mom didn't like her. Oh, her mom didn't like him, and his mom didn't like her.
Yeah.
And the moms didn't get along with each other, period.
Yeah.
And then also, another issue was he had an issue with the baby daddy.
Mm-hmm.
The issue with the baby daddy was she wasn't telling him the information all the information that was going on between him and her and the baby daddy. She made it seem like the baby daddy was the issue. Turns out she might have been the issue because she didn't want to. Because he was like, I want to adopt so and so, her daughter, and she was like, no, because I don't think she wanted to lose the child support from the baby daddy.
Mm-hmm.
So
that would go away if she.
So
if
she was trying to do everything she can not to have Quaylon become the father of her daughter,
which was confusing.
So, and long story short, they ended up breaking up.
Well, they broke up for other reasons. She said he was gay.
Okay.
Allegedly, there's a guy who also served time around the same time as Quaylon, who said that he was his in-house girlfriend, basically.
Okay.
And that's why she said she broke up with him, because he lied.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
But Quaylon, again, like his after, he's like trying to give back to the community. He's trying to like
he's
do right.
he's working with a pastor. He lost a friend to gang violence in 2020.
Yeah.
And he's working with a community organizer who's a pastor, and he's working with kids, trying to pretty much tell them there's a better way, and pretty much being like a big brother or a father figure,
Yeah,
to the youth. He moved to Dallas, and he's training to become a barber, and that's pretty much Quaylon's life after lockup criminal story.
it was pretty good. Next week we're supposed to see who, Louie and
That
one of the originals,
light skinned black girl,
yeah,
who's pretty much a habitual liar.
yeah. Can't wait. It'll be interesting.
I don't. Is it wrong for me to say this?
Oh Lord.
I don't know how true Brittany's story was to me.
What parts of it were you like, okay?
It was just a lot.
I don't think it's that outlandish.
And all this stuff.
I don't think it's because, one, she's been saying this, so it's not like she just said it for this show. Mm-hmm. She's been talking about how like she was mad young when she hit the streets and would start making this living or whatever. How her parents had addiction issues. How she doesn't have any contact with her older children. She's been talking about this.
But so yeah, her story is interesting and crazy at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Quaylon's story was more straightforward, and it's like the escalation.
It was sadder to me. Quaylon's story was sadder.
Yeah.
Because he was 17, and if he had just been caught in his hometown, he would have been tried as a juvenile.
Yeah.
But because he was caught somewhere else, they made him the full adult charge, and he lost 12 years.
Well,
that's crazy.
At the same time, too, know the law.
Okay.
If you're gonna do crime, know the law. Mm-hmm. Know where you can and can't be to get arrested. Mm-hmm. Where you can and can't commit a crime, so you know you be charged with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They decided to go across town to do these burglaries. Mm-hmm. The fact that he went from stealing candy to stealing retail, which is not a big leap to me, but then to all of a sudden to breaking in houses was a.
I don't think that was a leap. Houses are convenient.
The leap for me is. But then again, if you hang around certain friends, the leap ain't that hard. Mm-hmm. So, the kicking in doors. You know how strong your foot got to be to kick in the door on the first kick?
Was he doing that, or was he just unlocking them? Like,
no, he was kicking in the doors.
Okay.
He would turn his back and donkey kick. Mm-hmm. And I guess his donkey kick was so strong that he was kicking in doors on the first kick. Mm-hmm. But if you live in the hood, the doors, according to you live in, the doors ain't that super strong.
True. Are they stealing from other hoods though? I thought they were stealing from like richer places.
No.
Which is why they were going across town.
No, they were going to different little hoods.
Interesting.
And stealing from hardworking people.
Dang.
The just so happened one guy came back. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is way before door cams and all that stuff. Ring cams and all that stuff. I'm assuming this dude might have had an alarm or something.
But or maybe there were security cameras before Ring.
Yeah, but or it could have been God just made him go back home. He forgot something. He just went back and just caught them at the right time. He's lucky he didn't lose his life.
Listen, it was crazy.
But this crime story, how the motherfuckers end up in jail, was actually really good. Good stories. Out of the 4 we've seen so far, which one was the most entertaining or most wow factor to you? Or crazy to you?
Who was in the other one? It was the white guy.
It was
and Lindsay.
Lindsay and
Garrett.
Yeah.
Garrett's was the most entertaining to me.
Why? Because
he has a black scent. Nobody in his family got a black scent. And he is sticking by this black scent. So for me, the Garrett story was interesting. Plus, hearing how like his dad was a single dad, he didn't really have a big relationship with his mom. All of the stuff that was how he got into the chop shop business. All of that was very interesting to me. What is it for you?
I just think it's funny that
Was it Lindsay?
the two women had the most craziest ones so far. I think the females are gonna have the craziest
Stories.
criminal stories because Quaylon is pretty much a hood story. That's pretty much all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett is pretty much a white dude living in a hood story, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But his
It's very
accent,
Miami Vice.
yeah, his accent makes no sense whatsoever.
It's so funny to me.
At all.
I definitely thought like, oh, maybe they all talk like this. No.
At all.
No.
At all.
Nope.
So
just him.
But to me, the craziest one has to be Brittany's.
Right now. Okay. Not Lindsay's throwing safes out your car.
That's the that's the stupidest one to me. That's the dumbest one to me. That's the dumbest.
She was a queen pin, Calvin. She was running them streets of Tupelo.
And I don't know how much is her hyping it up more than what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Too, but hers.
I would say that, except I feel like she kind of played with like the semantics of how she was the queen pin.
Yes.
Because she was like, law enforcement knew who I was, and the law enforcement officer was like, yeah, we did know who she was. Her name popped up a lot in what we were doing.
I think who's the saddest so far to you?
Brittany. Quaylon too. Brittany and Quaylon's saddest. 12 years old.
Yeah, I can see
learning all that.
Brittany being the saddest.
That's ridiculous. That's crazy. Not knowing where your kids are.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's the saddest for me.
But also being 17 and your half of your life taken from you. That's crazy too.
And that's pretty much love after Lockup, a criminal story.
I got more questions now because knowing that Quaylon served 12 years, went in at 17. I remember the fights him and Chevelle were having because he wanted to be closer to his family, and she was like, "No, they didn't even see you in prison." 12 years? I'm confused.
I still
about the empathy. I'm confused about the empathy. Why would you be surprised that they want to be close to their family?
Okay.
Confused.
And he's his mom only son on top of that too.
Yeah. Like right now, he still doesn't live near his family. His family's still back in Kansas. He moved to Texas. But still, just like
they don't have to worry about him not being able to see him or being barred from seeing him.
Right.
Now.
It was very interesting to me. Or even like a common complaint when they first get out is that they're not spending time with, their girl or whatever. They want to spend time with their family. Yeah. Why wouldn't they want to spend time with their family? Like that's what confuses me more.
I get that. But then make it abundantly clear I want to spend time with my family.
Be super clear in that.
Yeah. Because then I can't help your delusion at that point.
But I also wonder, like, what's the expectation? Like, yes, he's getting out. This is the first time you're going to see him. This is also their first time seeing him. But you guys are making plans to stay together, live together, grow your lives together.
We're going to see each other and we're going to spend time to get to know each other before we started pitting people in the relationship. This is our time to get to know and hold and truly be with each other without anybody watching us.
I guess what I'm saying is
no partition in between us or anything.
I guess what I'm saying is if they want to spend their first day out with their family, I don't see what the problem is. You're going to have that night together and you'll have the next day together. I don't see the problem when it's that.
But a lot of times it don't be just that one day.
With Cameron's story, that's what happened. His family threw him that party when he got out.
The other day.
And that was it.
Yeah. And then they start saying stuff.
Start saying what?
Why you with this girl?
Well, in Cameron's case, he threw her under the bus. It was like, she hates y'all. She don't want to see you.
So it's a whole lot of stuff. And women be selfish.
But like even like the last couple we just watched, Robin Tia.
Yeah, Robin Tia.
his family left they left that day, actually. They left that day. They came to see him. They hung out for like that afternoon. They left.
What can I say, Javon? Some women be selfish. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, then he did go out and hang out with his friend later, but like it was all in the same day. So I'm confused.
Some women be very jealous, and they just never had a man in a long time. They just want the warmth of a man. I don't know what to tell you.
I just got confused.
I don't know. I don't know what excuse to give these ladies.
Okay.
Maybe they're just emotionally crazy.
I just got confused. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing what the rest. I know we're getting Louis. I know we're getting. I want to say her name is Jasmine.
No, I don't know, but I know Louis is gonna be funny.
You think it's gonna be funny?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Louis on the meth. He's just doing
He
stuff
was
to
on the
do
meth.
stuff. Yeah, he was just doing stuff to do stuff.
Well, what's her face was also on the stuff. Remember, because she got mad at the guy having a spoon, a dirty spoon in the drawer. She was like, "That's a crack spoon. Get it out of here."
Who was that?
The black lady, the light skinned black lady.
Oh,
remember?
yeah.
She went to her
her
fiance's house and he had a dirty spoon, and she was like, "I know what kind of spoon that is."
Oh, hers gonna be funny too, because she need Ritalin.
She leads with sex though a lot. Like
Yeah.
even in her season, she led with sex. She was like, "I have all these Johns who help pay for this, that, and whatever," and she would give them videos.
Yeah. She need Ritalin. She's on that. Yeah.
She's really.
Yeah, she needs Ritalin. Yeah. She's like,
I wonder who else they got. Oh, I wonder who else they got. This is running through March, so I want to know who else is on the docket.
as long as the stories are good. I know Crazy Brittany, the other Crazy Brittany, that was the dude. Oh God, the old ass dude who ended up
the guy with the dungeon in the basement.
No. You remember Crazy Brittany, the dude that bought her a car and all that stuff, and he was taking care of her because she said the baby was his, but it wasn't. I don't think.
What?
And he went and got another girl pregnant.
What? The baby?
Oh God, what's that dude's name? Oh, I can't remember his name.
Crystal? You talking about Crystal? And John?
Yeah, I think it's John.
You're talking about Crystal?
Yeah.
Yeah. And her name's not Brittany. He went and got married to the other one.
Yeah.
She got red hair.
Yeah. Crystal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, her name's not Brittany.
Yeah, Crazy Crystal.
I think the blonde girl's name is Brittany, with the old man who had like a sex dungeon in the garage.
I think she's gonna tell her story, and I'm gonna see Crazy Crystal's last story.
Interesting.
That shit, it's full of just meth and drugs, and it's just full of meth. That's full of meth and drugs.
Meth and drugs.
Crystals combining crack and meth.
You know who I kind of hoped was gonna be on here, but he's still in prison.
Who?
Do you remember the guy who just wanted bologna and sex when he got out of jail?
Yes.
That's who I wanted.
Yes, the little Marine girl.
Yeah. I wanted to know his story.
Oh, that story is just.
I wanted to know.
That's like what's the Anarchy movie?
Sons of Anarchy.
That shit sounds like Sons of Anarchy. His background story.
What?
Sounds like Sons of Anarchy.
Interesting. I don't know. I just cracked me up when he was like, "Man, you got the two things I want: bologna and sex."
But the
bologna.
But not the red. But the ghetto white version of that. Not the redneck version. The ghetto white version.
I don't know what that is.
It's like you're not a redneck, but you're ghetto white, and you've hung around a couple of black people.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that Louis?
No.
Louis not ghetto white?
No. Louis like New Jersey shores trash.
Yeah. Jersey Shore trash?
Yeah, he's Jersey Shore trash. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's regional. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Interesting.
But now we're gonna recap 90 Day The Last Resort. Ooh. Season 2, episode 11.
What was it called? Dating apps don't lie, I guess, maybe?
It should be called People Yelling for No Reason. It should be People Yelling for No Reason.
This was an episode where, unfortunately, I had to agree with Calvin, where like this particular counselor, it didn't seem like she knew what she was doing.
No. All hell broke loose.
So much happened in such a short time.
So while she's talking to
Brandon
and Julia. So we just started Brandon and Julia.
Okay, so she's got them pulled to the side to help them try to get through the news that Julia dropped, which was that she was messing around with an ex back in Russia, like years ago.
More than 5 years ago.
But Brandon was talking about how, like, it's new information to him, and they already were having the issues in their relationship, and now he's, he hopes they can move past it, but he's feeling very vulnerable around everything that's going on because he feels betrayed. And Julia's like, it was on my heart to talk about it. I wasn't going to keep quiet about it, but can we leave it here and move forward?
Now, during Pillow Talk, we found out there's another guy.
There was another instance
where she was working at a hotel, I guess.
But again, it was also years ago.
Where she was entertaining another guy.
She was allegedly flirting with some dude she was working with, but they were only engaged at that point.
And it sounds like she might have done more than meets the eye.
Actually, they didn't go back to her. You know how they hinted at it? They never went back to her.
She said she'll tell her after the...
She's out telling when the cameras are off.
The cameras off. So it sounds like she might have did something with that guy.
Julia's a tease to me. She likes to flirt. She likes to take it to like as far as she can and then not go the full way. To me, that's what it seems like she kind of does. She likes the game of it, is what it seems like to me. Because she still chooses Brandon every time.
Yeah, so they're working through these differences with their
perspectives on what they're going to do to move forward.
Move forward with the what's her?
The counselor.
The counselor. I don't want to call her counselor.
She is a counselor. That's why they can't call her the shrink. They can't call her a psychologist.
She's a counselor. They might have got her off the Wheatie box or something like that.
She's a clinical hypnotherapist / life coach. To me, that's a red flag. You don't need any certifications to be a life coach.
She's not really good at anything. So while she's talking to Brandon and Julia about this, Sophie
is talking to Jasmine. And she's talking about how Rob might be dabbling in infidelity again because he might be talking to some chicks on the apps. She got a screenshot from one of her friends that shows that Rob either has presently or had a dating page in a dating app.
Seems like she's saying, if you watch the Pillow Talk, Jasmine says it's
not a Pillow Talk. They call it In Between the Sheets.
In Between the Sheets?
It's crazy. It doesn't make sense.
AKA Pillow Talk. If you've ever seen 90 Day Fiance, it's Pillow Talk. Jasmine talks to Brandon and pretty much tells Brandon it was the screenshot she saw was like from 3 days ago that he was on the app.
There were timestamps on it, yeah.
Timestamp on like 3 days ago he was on the app. So Jasmine helps Sophie get up the courage to go confront Rob about this around the campfire.
In front of the group.
So she goes up to Rob, starts talking to Rob about it.
Not really. She definitely makes a declarative statement in front of everybody. Like, hey guys, this is what's happening. I'm finding out this about Rob on the phone, and I've been struggling in my marriage to Rob. And Rob is feeling attacked. He goes on the defensive and is immediately calling her out and being like she's lying. That's not what's happening. But then when she goes, I have the receipts to show that you are doing it. Instead of him like doubling down, like, no, that's not me. He goes, well, you told me I could date. Like it was a weird shift in conversation.
I wonder if they cut it funny.
You think it was edited weird?
Yeah, I wonder if they edited it weird.
They showed it again in the In Between the Sheets segment. That's exactly what happened. She corners him about the dating thing. He says it's not recent. Prove it. She goes to prove it, and then he switches it up and goes, "Well, you told me I could date whoever I wanted to date."
Let me get the text message for you. So now he's in his phone.
3 hours later,
get a text message. You're like, someone in. How do you search text?
He takes a minute to pull
Siri,
it up.
find message where she said I can do it.
But he is at 100. He is pissed, and he's calling her mom a crackhead and how she lost a real one.
And so then finally, like she's saying, he's yelling at her. Finally, all you hear is, "That's why your mom's a crackhead."
We hear that in the sheets. You don't see it on the show. In the show, he just says that she lost a real one.
So, like she said on the show, all you see him storm off like, "You just lost a real one," and I'm like, why would you say that? Out of all things you can say.
Yeah, you already had the last word. You good?
I'm like, why?
But because he's upset.
So that's why she goes into the bathroom and almost has
hyperventilates. She has a panic attack.
Has a panic attack because this idiot.
He's brought up more than once that Sophie's mom used. More than once. He brings up more than once that Sophie's mom had addiction issues. And it's always reflexive. It's always as a way to like get back at Sophie.
if you watch the pillow in between the sheets,
Yeah.
aka Pillow Talk, he pretty
Don't
much
call it pillow talk.
he pretty much says he said that because he was mad.
He wanted to hurt her. Yeah.
So I'm like,
He says, I was, I was already upset. And I didn't care about being reckless.
I'm like, so she's right. You only say things to hurt her. You don't care about her feelings.
The thing that I'm confused on is that they go around and around like this every show we see him in. He says something mad hurtful. She says something hurtful. He does something crazy and she runs away. We see this happen a lot. A lot. Why are we still together? Break up.
Because we don't know how to be apart.
So confused.
That's why. So now, since Rob has walked away yelling that you lost a real one, randomly, yeah, so all that's happening.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I guess he comes back and he's still arguing. They're still yelling at each other. Now, all of a sudden, the counselor comes back with Brandon and Julia, and she's like, yo, what's going on? And pretty much they tell her.
Well, and when she comes back, Natalie is now screaming. Natalie is now going after Josh.
So all of a sudden, Natalie is just screaming at the top of her lungs.
She's like, he is body shaming me. He's lying. Why would you do this to me? And everybody's like, why is she?
Don't do the shaming of the body.
The group is looking at each other like, why is she shouting right now? What is happening right now?
So apparently, Josh tells
the group
that
they asked him how he slept, and he said he didn't sleep well.
He says pretty much, I don't like to be touched when I'm sleeping. I know a lot about that. Yeah. Someone I will not name doesn't like to be touched in their sleep neither.
And that name is Calvin.
And they sleep like they're protecting something.
I'm protecting secrets.
Or something.
Okay? Treasure.
You're not going to get none of my goodies. You're not going to get none of my goodies.
No, means no.
No, means no. No, means no. Stay away from me.
According to my husband, I sleep like I'm in prison on a cot. So, like, I don't.
My back's to the wall. I have a shake.
They ain't getting me today. They ain't getting me.
Stay out of my thoughts. Stay out of my thoughts, ghost. Not today, ghost.
According to my husband, I wake up and immediately try to stab somebody.
So, I understand where Natalie's coming from. I understand where she's coming from.
You make it sound like you're so isolated. I'm just by myself.
I understand. I've been body shaped a lot too, Natalie.
Body shaped?
I understand where you're coming from.
It was just so random.
It was so random
that she says this, and everybody's like, "I don't know what's going on." Then the counselor's like, "I need to get this back in order. I need to fix this. Let's do a group exercise, y'all. We're gonna do a group exercise."
So before that, Florian goes and calms Natalie down and makes her come back and listen to Josh and what Josh is saying.
Which is weird that Florian's taking the mantle to do this. He's gone on record to say he don't like none of these women.
Exactly, but he's always a peacemaker for some reason.
Very interesting. But it was also funny because she's like, "Apologize, Josh." Josh goes, "I'm sorry." She goes, "Apologize."
And he's like, "I'm sorry." Fuck you, Josh. And I'm like, wow. And
then she tries to knee him. It was hilarious. Anyway.
But I said it too. I'm like, I think it's more to this outburst. I'm like, her outburst is like a kid. And then, but I'm like,
it was clear. Yeah. It was clear that she wasn't actually fighting him on that. She was fighting him on something else.
And we were talking about it. I'm like, I think she does that because that's how she gets his attention.
Yeah.
And he gives her the attention she wants.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I think it's just for attention.
But the other thing is, like, Josh is like, this always happens. And I'm like, why are you here then?
And I'm like,
why do you keep doing this? It's been 3 years now. What are you doing?
Why do you ignore her until she has a hissy fit then?
Right.
And then want to be cutesy a couple.
Josh is a douche.
Yeah, that's the problem. He's a douche.
The in between the sheets follow-up show has him reenact how Natalie and him would sleep. They gave him a sheet and he goes, "First of all, this is not a high enough thread count for me to even enjoy. This is not what I would normally use to sleep." Shut up. A sheet is a sheet is a sheet. You idiot. Anyway, so yeah, so this life coach is like, okay, we need to get things back we need to get things back under control. She tried to help Sophie and Rob. Rob is too busy being mad, and Sophie's like, I don't know what else to
The
do.
hell with you and your crackhead mama.
Basically. And then like she feels like she just squashed the Brandon Julia situation. And now you got Natalie yelling at Josh. And she's like, okay, let's reel it in. I don't know what's going on, why they're going each other.
She tried to do her breathing techniques with these people, but little did she know, one more person was about to erupt.
She's like, all right, we're gonna have the ladies stand up front, we're gonna have the guys stand in the back, okay, we're gonna take some deep breaths, we're gonna move the energy with our hands to help, like really connect with the physical of like releasing all this excess energy. She's making the noises, and then she's like, and then we're gonna scream as she's trying to get them to push, basically turn into Super Saiyans and Kamehameha their feelings out of their bodies.
Their feelings out of their
That's
bodies.
right. Ariella just leaves. She just walks away.
The way she walks off is even...
It looked like she was going to go get some water. That's what I thought. I thought she was running to the side to get a water.
It was even special.
She walked off. She walks away, and they're like, okay.
They found her sitting like she's in a cover of a Michael Jackson Thriller album on a rock. A random rock.
And she's just like, nobody knows what I've been going through.
Nobody knows.
No one wants to basically validate her reality.
Exactly.
They're so quick to validate everybody else's reality, but not hers.
The trouble I see.
And so they managed to talk her to come back to the group. And when she gets there, the life coach makes the mistake of being like, so what are your feelings, Ariella? But what's going on? And Ariella, who has, for whatever reason, anytime somebody has an issue with their partner, goes, that's exactly what I'm going through with Benny. Like all of the instances when Jasmine and Gino had their fight, apparently that's just like her and Benny.
Benny's not giving her sex. That's a fight.
Sophie and Rob,
Benny is not being honest with her, and he's cheating on her, and he got a dating profile.
I guess so.
That he needed.
He didn't have the passwords to his socials. How you do that?
He needed a password for it to get on that.
But she's just like, that's the same thing that me and Benny are also going through.
5 years ago.
And she's like, everybody's so quick to like call Rob out on his stuff, especially you, Julia. And she points to Julia, who's standing there like,
Julia, like, I don't know what are you talking about? You're right, Brandon. She does need male attention. She's like, what? I wasn't even here. I wasn't even here.
Julia's looking around like, I just got here. We were over there. We were in a different place. I have no idea what you're talking about. And when you're watching the show, it looks so out of the blue that she's calling Julia out. You're just like, what do you mean?
If you watch
in the sheets,
they show what happens when whatever.
When Ariella steps away, everybody gets to take a break. Benny turns on his Benny-ness.
What happened was they said, Benny, show us a dance or something. Yeah. Do Michael Jackson. So Benny starts doing Michael Jackson
moves. Yeah, he starts doing Michael Jackson moves, and he starts moonwalking.
He does a moonwalk, and everybody's like, enamored with it. So then Julia goes, can you teach me how to the moonwalk?
Yes, and he's showing her how to moonwalk.
And
Ariella comes back.
Ariella's coming back.
And she's like, this bitch has the audacity to learn how to dance for my man.
And not scold him?
She gotta go.
And not scold him?
She gotta go. They need to hate him the way I hate him. What are they doing?
So all the guys bring up on the
in the
sheets that she wants everybody to hate Benny.
Yeah.
Because she hates Benny.
Yeah.
And if you don't hate Benny, then you're against her.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, it's two sides.
Yeah.
One, it seems like Benny has moved on or made
is genuinely trying to make peace with you.
Yeah. Genuinely trying to make peace with you and made peace with whatever y'all guys were going through.
Yeah.
And he's ready to move on.
And he wants to move into the next chapter. Absolutely.
You're the one frozen in time.
Right. And refusing for whatever reason to move on.
But also the females are like, we should have
did better.
We should have did better into understanding her plight and just calling Benny an asshole because he's probably not a good husband. Which I don't think it's not that Benny's not a good husband. I think the problem is if you keep telling me that I'm not good, or you keep trying to get me to admit something that I've already told you 1,000 times about the past, and you're trying to make it seem like I did you wronger than what I said I did or you think I did. And every time I tell you the same thing, it's not as you think I'm leaving something out. What am I supposed to do at that point?
Well, basically, it doesn't matter what I tell you. You're not going to accept anything I tell you.
Exactly.
So
And,
why waste my breath?
and I think Benny's at the point like I'm done. I'm not gonna keep telling you this.
He
'cause
talks
it's
about
nothing
how
done.
like she's prone to those temper tantrums, and he's like, I've learned to just leave her be. Like, don't even go after her. Just leave her be. So like to Jasmine's point, I agree with her. I don't think Benny is particularly a great husband. There's probably a lot of instances, especially given the culture clashes that they tend to have with his expectations of what a wife should be and what her expectations of what a husband should be. They clash because they got together without really knowing each other. Then she got pregnant. He was in several relationships at the same time. So like there was a lot of stuff going on. And to me, it reads like this was somebody who thought that she was going to go about things the quote unquote right way when she started her family, and because it didn't go the way she thought it should go, she's mad that he is also not upset with her that things didn't go the way she thought they should go. And in her mind, he's not doing enough to make up for the lack of confidence she has in making those decisions moving forward. But in my mind, Benny is a very much like a go with the flow type of person. Like he lives in the moment. So he's he's very much like, well, what can we do right now? Let's do what we can do right now. But she's like, no, we need to rehash the past. So poor Benny is the end of that. That's what the end of that was poor Benny.
Yeah, I don't think Benny. He's doing his first child. I don't. He cares about his son a lot. You can tell.
Yeah.
If you watch the season, you can see it.
Even I feel like honestly, even at this point, if she asked him for a divorce, he would be like, yeah, that's cool, but how do we co-parent? Like I feel like he would go along with whatever she wanted to do.
Yes, he's trying to do whatever she wants to do because he doesn't want to lose his son.
Yeah.
And I think she knows that. So this is her way of just holding. I think
Punishing
she's
him.
holding him and punishing him, holding him hostage.
Mm-hmm.
But the punishing ain't working because Benny is too happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he will find his peace.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now he's finding his peace and she can't handle that.
No.
So
Nope.
now she's out of options. She don't know what to do.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Because misery likes company.
Yes.
But now she has no company.
Yes. Yes. Not with the group, not with Benny. Yep.
So now she's stuck in limbo as the old bitter woman,
Yeah.
which she wants to be anyway.
Yeah. I agree. Because she wants to be the victim. So yes.
And Benny just wanted to move on and be happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Benny is, if you want to try, we will try.
Right.
But I'm having a good time.
But if you don't want to try, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Just let me know how you want us to co-parent.
And I'm just going to have a good time regardless. I'm done. I got my passwords.
Right. Which is why I came here.
But here's the thing. You changed them anyway. So I like, fuck it. I'll just change them again. So I'm happy. Either way. I don't care. I moved on.
Right. With his socials. Absolutely.
So then we move on to Jasmine and Gino.
Ugh. Might as well not have. Nothing happened.
It's nothing happened. So we go back. They leave the campsite. They go back to the rooms. And Jasmine pretty much asks
Very gingerly.
Asks Gino what happened.
Well, there was a whole point, I want to say the episode prior to this one, where everybody was going around talking about a moment that stood out to them that hurt their partner. Jasmine gives her moment. Gino does not give his. He tight-lipped, shuts it up. Doesn't. So she's like, what were you going to say? What was the moment that came up to you? Genuinely, I want to know. And this stupid show just shows him about to cry, which is exactly what they showed us the last time too. And we don't get to hear what he said.
We all know Freddy Krueger cannot tell you things unless he's in your dreams. We all know that. So I don't know what
I like how he went from Bert to Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, he's both.
That's so crazy.
When he's looking stupid, he's Bert.
So
when he
crazy.
gets angry, he's Freddy Krueger. But it's funny because he still has that Bert voice.
Here's what confuses me about the Jasmine Gino thing. Jasmine, the previews for next week show Jasmine talking about how she wants an open relationship with Gino, and how she's already kind of started talking to this man. And they show the man. They show what this man looks like on her phone. That man, the ex she had back in Colombia, there's a type there.
Yeah, her type is ugly.
Okay, sure. But they're conventionally attractive in comparison to Gino. Like these guys seem like they're better fits for her.
Yes.
So my question becomes, why is she so stuck on Gino? Why is she so stuck on Gino? Her ex was conventionally attractive. This guy that she's talking to, another conventionally attractive person. Why is she stuck on Gino?
Because I guess Gino gave her something those guys didn't.
I almost feel like Gino is the one that says no, and that's why she was chasing him so hard. Because he says no.
I guess.
It's so confusing. And then there's a scene where Florian's talking to Gino and he's like, "Would you die for Jasmine?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'd die for Jasmine." And he goes, "So you die for Jasmine, but you won't have sex with her?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Florian basically tells him to get his shit together. It was hilarious.
So then we move to Florian and Darcy.
Stacy.
Apparently Darcy makes an appearance. And
I don't know why they're giving us this storyline that Darcy's in between their marriage and Florian can't choose between the two of them. This feels so out of left field.
We've sat here and watched Darcy and Stacy all of the seasons.
Yes.
They don't like each other.
Never once.
They really don't like each other.
Did Florian come up there and was like, yeah.
Never once. I guess maybe it's different off camera. That's what they're saying. Off camera is a different thing.
So far, the instances they're talking about is like they both like to go party. So they both go to a club. And and that Stacy is Debbie Downer. And if we watch the shows, that's exactly what it was. Like Darcy's the happier one. Stacy's the more serious one.
Yeah, Stacy's the Debbie Downer.
Yeah, so I'm confused. And then you see a whole scene where Stacy's like, "You have to choose my side."
You have to choose my side.
And I don't know if she's trying to pretend to be mad or what, but it doesn't look right.
What's really funny is they have done so much work. They don't even look like twins anymore.
No.
It's insane.
Not really.
And I didn't know who Darcy was when she walked in. I'm like,
are we going to see her husband? No. What's his face? That's what I want to know.
They're not gonna bring my boy out.
Hilariousness. So that's who I would love to see in the couples counseling. Like when they go, I would love them to reflect on what's his face saying. We're the same, right, Florian? And Florian being like, "You shut your face."
And I want him to be like, just to let you guys know, you guys were in between our relationship. Okay. It's not the other way around.
All right.
It's not the other way around.
Roll the beautiful bean footage because what the heck is happening here?
Exactly.
So yeah, but it feels like a made up storyline for them. But I'll write it out.
I don't know.
Whatever. I'll see.
But that's pretty much
90-Day Last Resort.
Yep, like she said, 90-Day Last Resort.
And that's all the shows, unless you're watching anything else. Oh, I watched Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix.
Don't even know what the hell that is.
It's about the Australian influencer. She was a health influencer. She said she had a brain tumor or brain cancer, and she healed herself with the fresh juices and crystal water of Lake Minnetonka. And it turned out she was lying. She was a habitual liar, is what happened.
I think Netflix also did a documentary on her too, but it's about the 60 Minutes interview they also about her. I think she's all over the place. I think now
Apple Cider is like a retelling, so it's not a strict documentary at all because they embellished a lot of stuff. It was sad, but it was also good. It was also really good. There is another health influencer who kind of represents like everybody in that particular influencer industry. Yeah. Who also was like, I'm going to heal my body naturally. I'm not going to do the chemicals. She had a type of tumor that basically it spread fast. It was a bunch of tiny little bumps that became larger bumps on her arm. And when she first goes into the doctors are like, okay, the treatment for this, you may not like the treatment for this, but it's the best course of treatment for you to stop the spread because trying to attack it with chemicals by itself is not enough. We're going to have to amputate your arm. And then you're going to have to do a couple rounds of chemotherapy. And she was like, I don't want to lose my arm. I can't lose my arm. There's got to be other ways to do that. So she gets onto the internet. She starts doing her Google searching and she learns all about the wellness side of the house. She learns about juices and vitamins and supplements, changing your diet to completely vegan. And she's like,
work.
It does work. At first for her. So she changes her diet. She does all of the wellness stuff. And then she also looks into these experimental treatments for what she has. And one of them is like concentrated chemotherapy or radiation, where instead of you taking like the intravenous version of it, like through your bloodstream, they basically like cap where all of your tumors are and hit it directly with that chemo. But the issue with that is that it's much harsher on your body because it's concentrated. So she wants to do that, and she does all her wellness stuff, and that works. She goes into remission. It works for a little bit. But it kicks off this whole industry standard for herself. And in the show, they show how like that's what influenced our main girl for the cider vinegar girl. She saw how well this girl was doing. She was like, I can do that. Let me do that. And that's how she kicks off her empire. My biggest takeaways from all of it was one, the frustration and reluctance to follow your doctor's orders because you feel you know your body better. Terrifying that people genuinely believe that they don't have to listen to science at all. Granted, I know science is not perfect, but this idea that you don't listen to it, period. Just use all this other stuff, all these homeopathic remedies instead without doctor is so much. But also how the people who are making money off this influencer checked nothing. They didn't do any background checks. They didn't check to see how she knew what she did, what she was claiming, nothing. They just were like, this sounds like a great story. Let's make a cookbook. Let's do the website. Let's do the app. She was huge. She was huge for a long time until these investigative journalists start piecing the pieces of the puzzle together to find out that she's not telling the whole truth. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was real good.
Okay.
You got a show you're watching? Oh, I'm gonna watch Love Is Blind. I'd make you watch it with me, but it's really boring.
I have nothing I'm really watching. I'm trying to get to this anime. It's something like Dragon Ball Z meets Food Wars.
I still want to know how that works.
I can't.
They go Super Saiyan and cook a meal?
No, I can't find. It's something like that. For the episodes I've watched, but then again, I don't know if it's the whole episodes because the way it's chopped.
Okay.
It looks like it's.
Are you watching it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's like it's chopped funny.
You can download Crunchyroll.
We don't have Crunchyroll.
You can still watch it with the commercials.
No.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to sign in, but you can still watch it with the commercials.
Right. Oh, well, sure. Anywho.
Oh, my
yeah.
goodness.
So I'll probably do that then. But yeah. And I watched my Sly Stone documentary. I watched that. So other than that, no, I don't really have anything I'm watching.
Will you watch the WWE Evolution show with me? It's on Tubi.
Sure.
It's about these kids coming up, and then there's another one on A&E. I got to figure out how to watch.
Sure. Why not?
Did you see Linda McMahon's confirmation to become the Secretary of Department of Education?
No.
I got more questions. Because Department of Education is trying to be dismantled, will she still be the secretary?
Who knows?
Okay.
What's the point? Who knows?
People were taking the clip from C-SPAN of her confirmation hearing because Hunter's right behind her and her daughter is right behind her. So when there's a point in there where she goes, I'm Linda McMahon, and she starts introducing the people behind her, they played their wrestling music. So she goes, this is Paul Leviskill, and you hear his music as Triple H come on, and then she goes, this is my daughter, and her music comes on, and she's like, and this is my son, and his music comes on. It was hilarious. It was so funny.
Why are we introducing him? Are they going to be... Are they going to do anything?
I don't know, but she was. I don't know.
So stupid.
But Triple H looks pissed the entire time, so it's just really funny.
Yeah, because he's like, why the fuck am I here? I got an empire to run. I don't got time to be in this bullshit.
I don't know.
I'm not doing anything with education.
I don't know. He just looks so just like.
Here's the funny thing. They're trying to push this choice.
Let's not go there. So anywho, let's wrap it up.
This whole choice thing.
Let's wrap it up.
You already have choice.
We could talk about this off mic. All right.
But yeah. Anywho.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. Thank you for listening to We Like That podcast.
So we like that.
Go ahead and click that subscribe button. You know you want to. And rate us 5 stars. I'm Javon.
I'm Calvin.
Later, people.
And we're out.